Welcome to another BBAI video. I have not talked about BBAI in a whole week and a half. I've been focused on streaming, but yeah, here I am. It's 8:30 a.m., 8:39 a.m. I just woke up, so I figured I'd start some recordings and stream at the same time. Whatever. BBAI, I believe it's gonna pull back to at least the bottom of that wedge. I don't know how far it's going to drop exactly, but I assume based on this pattern here, we're about to find out. The funny thing is we're about to find out whether BBAI is going to rally here above. It's barely holding on at 7s. I noticed it's barely holding on at 7s, but we're about to find out how this wedge is going to break out or break down. Friday we had a sell-off, which is kind of expected. We would expect a sell-off on Friday, but yeah, there's that pattern. We're holding above 7s, so if it does hold here, we should see 8 next. Because it just kind of went sideways at 7s yesterday. Let's look at the smaller time frame. The smaller time frame, yeah, buyers kept showing up at under 7. They just kept buying the dip here, so we're gonna see what happens on Monday. It's just unfortunate that we have the government shutdown. The government shutdown is a problem. While that's still happening, I don't think the market's gonna move in the direct, I think we would get an explosion normally, but I don't see the market moving higher until we get back in order. So that's kind of I wish we didn't have that looming over our heads. That's probably the best way to put it. The government shutdown. I wish we didn't have that over our heads, because the market's still going to be thinking about that, and so I don't think. I think at this point we might just go sideways, and then we're either going to get a big pump or we're going to drop. One of those two is going to happen, because this always happens when the market is fearful or in a state of indecision. You get these kinds of patterns, right? You're seeing a wedge here because it's indecision. That's what it is. It's either someone's going to win, buyers or sellers. I don't know, but it's looking more and more like, if this can bounce here, it's looking more and more like an ascending triangle. But we'll see. I guess you could. No, you can't really call it an ascending triangle. My bad. No, you can't. You cannot. Look at that yearly trend, intact yearly trend. I do want to take a look at something here real quick. The fear and greed index. I was looking at the fear and greed index. That's something you always want to keep an eye on. The fear and greed index, because when people start getting scared, you usually get quite a sell-off. And let's look at it real quick. So right now we're in neutral. So we were at extreme greed, then greed, and now we're at neutral. So the question is, are we going to go into fear this coming week? The longer the government shutdown goes on, I think the more we're going to see this go into fear and extreme fear. Because people hate uncertainty. That's what people hate. People don't like uncertainty. So we're going to see this kind of go back into fear and extreme fear if the government doesn't open up by next week. Because there's just going to be a lot of data that we have no access to. So that's going to affect BBAI. And I think I drew a little chart here, but let me see if I can find it. Yeah, October tends to be very volatile as well. So, I don't think I can find the chart here. Where's the chart? There's the chart. Let me just show you this real quick. So last time we were up here in this same area, we broke down and went into fear. And that fear was nothing more than a dip buying opportunity. And here we're kind of seeing the same thing, like the same setup, a descending triangle. And if it breaks down next week, we should see the market go into fear. And that would cause a sell-off to continue. We sold off quite a bit on Friday on some stocks, especially the big boys. So that's something to keep an eye on. I always keep an eye on the fear and greed index. When everyone is scared, that's usually a good time to buy because stocks are being discounted. So I think it's inevitable that BBAI, regardless of what happens short term, I think it's inevitable that this thing breaks out and goes to 10 plus. That's what I believe. So short term, don't be surprised by some pain. Don't be surprised by some fear for the markets to pull back. I wouldn't be surprised. And I want it to pull back. Come on down. Bring BBAI back down at least to 550, somewhere under there. But it might not happen. We'll see. It's really going to be dependent on that damn government shutdown and everything that's going to come from that. This is a different kind of market. That's the funny thing about this kind of stock market is because Trump is in office, it's a lot more volatile. And any news overnight, any news over the weekend could see everything just either explode, gap up, or we drop lower. So I did not buy BBAI on, was it Friday or Thursday for that matter? Because I'm like, well, it's just not going anywhere. If the markets just don't go anywhere, it's kind of time to be cautious too, because there's no direction at that point. And you want direction. So yeah, those are my thoughts on BBAI. I do wonder, let me look at the smaller time. Rare that I look at the smaller time frames. It's rare, but so yeah. Okay, very interesting. We are towards the end of this, on the 4 hour at least, we are towards the end of that wedge. So it's either going to, on Monday or Tuesday, we're either going to break down and come down to at least like 550, somewhere on there, or we're going to break out and go to 8. It's one or the other at this point. It's one or the other. So yeah, next week for sure, Monday and Tuesday, keep an eye on BBAI. It's going to do one or the other. I do wonder... let me check BBAI on Twitter just to see what people are thinking. Hopefully there's no like weird stuff on here. I think that looks like it's bouncing off the somebody increased their price target to $9. Cup and handle. I'm expecting a push to the upside. A lot of bullish people right now on BBAI, huh? Yeah, that's a lot of bullish people. That's a lot of bullish people on BBAI. Yeah, we need a government contract in order for this to get a significant move to the upside. Because right now the share price has been moving on its own. But I keep thinking this is an ascending triangle, but is it really? I don't know if you want to call it that.